Off the Edge, a new kind of podcast show, fantasy show. Oh, man, I always mess up the intro, man.
I get so happy, dude.
Keep bringing us in. And
I'm so happy.
Jeff, dude, you are punctual.
He snuck in, dude.
Snuck right in time. Happy to be here.
Happy. I love that blue light, dude.
Thank you. I'm working on. So I've been working all day long on my basement studio, and so it's very much a work in progress. I don't have decorations behind me or anything yet, but I've done. Process. I need to figure out some lighting, and I need to maybe work on some acoustics down here because I'm worried about that. But it's been a very busy and productive day, and I've missed any sort of Twitter nonsense that might have gone on. And so this morning, I know the Chaos League. I was working on updating some of those rosters because we used
thank you so much.
The Tuesday switch rule. And so that is, that's a crazy league. And so
between the Matthew Berry rule and the Tuesday switch rule, I mean, I think we switched some things up. Like my brain was fried.
Dude, I can't believe
the conversation.
For some reason, I thought that the Matthew Berry rule was swap the player, not the points.
No, it was the score.
I know, dude. So I went into the drafting. I was like, I only have Russell Wilson. Let me draft Trey Lance because I figured he was going to get some points, and then I could swap Russell back in for the Tuesday switch. So the Tuesday switch is a rule where we can swap any bench player for the starter. Mm-hmm. And Matthew Berry's rule was we draft a backup quarterback. If they play, their points supersede our starting quarterback's points. Pretty interesting.
So maybe you're going to maybe you want to make a trade with me. I got Tyrod Taylor just sitting there on my bench. You need a second quarterback, Corey, and he would be the guy that you would want to switch in.
It would be, absolutely. Again, it's all prefaced on the fact that I just misinterpreted the rule and made a mistake. So
it's all prefaced on the fact that I beat Corey. That's the more important news there, right? Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
But the strategy with the super flex, I had Josh Allen, so I put Josh Allen in my super flex. I didn't risk losing those points. Turns out the guy that I thought would be risky and I'd be okay losing his points was Jameis Winston, and I think he dropped 40-something points because, famous Jameis.
Famous Jameis.
5 touchdowns, under 20 throws, too? It's like the first time that's ever happened, I think.
He's back, man. I love it. I'm loving it.
You can see the classic joke. That joke's probably worn out by now.
What joke?
Like he got LASIK, he could finally see. It's like, all right, everyone, we get it.
Well, I mean, the guy throws 5 touchdowns. He's now on pace to have 85 touchdowns in his comeback season. I think it's relevant to say something. I'm a little nervous about the yardage situation, though, because if those passing touchdowns go away, then he's not as relevant as we saw on Sunday.
But, they did throw a little bit. Something interesting, Troutman led the receiving group in targets, but Juwan Johnson came away with those 2, touchdowns in the red zone area, so that's something to note. How do we feel about Troutman versus Johnson? Troutman, better run blocker, so he'll be out there doing his thing, but are we going to ignore Juwan Johnson and his 2 touchdowns?
No, you can't ignore Juwan Johnson, and I think both of them are going to be out there, and it's going to be hard to tell which one you want to play at some point. But right now, it's Juwan Johnson. If you want to take a shot on either or, it's recency bias, I guess, because he did catch those 2 touchdowns. But it looks the same. Like Jameis is back, man. Juwan Johnson matched up pretty well, similar to an OJ Howard type tight end, and that's who he's going to look for. That's what he's comfortable with. And if there are no receiving threats, we saw Marquez Callaway, pretty much a ghost for fantasy purposes.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Shout out Jair Alexander.
It's just, that was the coverage problem. Shout out Jair Alexander. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
Shout out Justin. He gets it. It definitely was because of that. I mean, let's be honest. Jeff?
Yeah, I think that the offense, though, we're going to see different things out of this offense. They're going to use Taysom Hill. They're going to use Deontay Harris on deep shots. They're going to use both tight ends. They're going to use Alvin Kamara, and they're going to use Tony Jones Jr. They're going to use all these guys. Sure. And so it's one of those that you can say that Callaway's Alexander, and certainly that is a big part of it, but you have to question about, I don't know, I think a lot of what we were basing Callaway on is he had a great preseason game, made 2 great touchdown catches in that preseason game, and he had one great game last year replacing Michael Thomas. And so those are the things you want to see. And, we kind of took away all the other targets and said, well, he's the only guy that's left, and so he's got to be a great play. And, I had sent some tweets, and I had said, talk to you guys in chat and whatnot. I was concerned that the game plan that what Sean Payton would do to beat the Packers wouldn't be the type of game plan where we're just going to throw it to Callaway 14 times like people wanted to see. And so I do wonder, I know Payton is one of the most innovative minds in the NFL. And so he's willing to go different game plans, different weeks. And so I think Callaway's one of those guys that as long as the situation is what it is, you need to put him in your lineup if you have him. But I think we need to temper expectations on maybe where we thought we were even a week ago at this time.
Good thoughts, man.
I've heard some things around the industry. People are afraid that he is a bust, and like week one panic, drop Marquez Callaway. And I'm speaking relevantly for redraft purposes right now. They're like, oh, you could drop. I heard it on the name drop fantasy footballers today. They're like, okay, go ahead, drop Marquez Callaway for Mike Williams.
Well, yeah.
Well, right? I mean, I would do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
At the same time,
what about? So let's play this. Let's play this a little bit.
Ooh,
I know
fun
it's
game.
Corey's favorite player. What about Christian Kirk? Do you drop Marquez Callaway for Christian Kirk?
I wouldn't
have Callaway. Probably.
I would rather have Callaway.
Yeah, I think the upside of Callaway is still there. It's just the game script really dictated what we saw out of Callaway in week one.
Yeah, and maybe if we see 2 more weeks with Callaway, flopping, maybe that's time. Jeff?
I think you bring up a great point, though, Chef. And we're all talking about waiver moves. The biggest thing, especially week one, is the overreaction, the drop, the second waiver run. And week one is unlike any other waiver one that you see because you'll get these people in here that, maybe it's a Callaway or maybe it's another guy that disappointed, a Trey Sermon or something like that they're going to drop them on the second time around.
I can't wait for Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, you get a better waiver run than what we're sitting with right now. Certainly right now we're excited about Elijah Mitchell. I think that you should still grab JaMychal Hasty as a much cheaper option because you never know how this backfield is going to break. I felt so terrible. And I Sunday morning, I went over with the neighbor with my daughter so she could play. And I get that notice that Trey Sermon's inactive. And I'm over here in the corner of the yard, hammering on my phone on all my dynasty rosters, everything that's got open moves, checking to see if JaMychal Hasty is there because I figured Mitchell was already taken. But loading up on Mitchell, and I was just like, I'm sorry for being antisocial for the last 20 minutes, guys. Like, I'm in too many fantasy football leagues, but I had to make this move through. And, that broke this way. And I was feeling terrible because I made that move in Scott Fishbowl to pick up Hasty, and I dropped a guy Mark Ingram. So Mark Ingram had a very good week, obviously.
But why did he have a good week?
Why did he have a good week?
Stinks.
Because they had to chew the clock down, right? So he just got that volume.
And it was, But Hasty worked out there. But if you want to touch on Mark Ingram, I think that's a situation where, early down work, they're going to use Mark Ingram or they're going to use Phillip Lindsay, whoever's the hot hand. And you don't know the Texans going in there because Mark Ingram was a 0 in the pass game. Phillip Lindsay got 1 ball in the pass game, but I think they're going to use David Johnson in the pass game. And so
like 4 targets, I think.
Yeah, he was out there on third down.
Yeah. And so this is going to be a move where, if you're certainly what we saw, and David Culley, he made a big point of bringing Mark Ingram in because he came from Baltimore and he really wanted Baltimore Mark Ingram in his offense. But, Baltimore Mark Ingram that we saw be productive was 2 seasons ago at this point. And so certainly had a great first game, but that might be the high water mark. And so that makes me nervous a little bit there versus grabbing a younger running back from a place like San Francisco, even if it's a little bit more of a crowded backfield situation.
Now, if Mark Ingram is, I'm sorry, Corey, if Mark Ingram is available out there on the waiver wire,
snag him.
I mean, I would go out there and put a small claim in at the bottom of my not dropping massive amounts of fab. If he falls my way, so be it. But if I am one of those people that lost Raheem Mostert, Travis Etienne, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, all those running backs in a matter of 2 weeks, you're looking to pick up some pieces. Like I went out and picked up Latavius Murray on Saturday morning. I dropped some fab on him, mainly because I think that I'm just going to wait for Tyson Williams to mess up at least once, and it's going to be Latavius Murray's backfield.
We'll see if it happens in week 2, huh?
I mean, it kind of happened in week 1, and I don't
know. It kind of happened in week 1.
What happened?
well, the last play of the game when Lamar fumbled, Baltimore's last possession, Williams blew a block. So he blew a blitz pickup, and that led to Lamar's fumble. And so the usage was interesting the second half, to say the least. I lost by a point, and I needed a point out of Tyson Williams for an entire fourth quarter and overtime, and he never got that one point. And so that was one of those that what you're going to get in fantasy football. But I think on his debut, we have to be excited about what we saw out of Tyson Williams. But
absolutely.
Great touchdown run.
And I'm not knocking on Tyson Williams at all. But I just wanted to note that Latavius Murray did have 10 carries after just getting picked up. All right, yeah, it was only 28 yards, but 18 of those 28 yards counted for a touchdown. And if he is the guy that's going to be in there, he has that explosive speed. We saw it in New Orleans. We just didn't see as much of it because he had Alvin Kamara in front of him. Now he has Tyson Williams, undrafted free agent, in front of him. So I think that Murray is still the guy that you want in that backfield behind Tyson Williams.
Did Tony Jones get drafted?
I don't know if he was drafted or not. He's a good player, though.
So an undrafted free agent took Latavius Murray's
late. I know. I think he was a late.
But I know what you mean. It's still a good point.
I think it was a 4th round pickup.
Well, the Ravens being a contender, they're going to need consistent running back help. What better than a veteran in Murray?
But you look at, so we got questions galore about who to pick up on your waiver. And the way that I look at it is, if you're playing in a redraft league and maybe you've got 5-6 guys on your bench, you're not going to drop 3 of these guys on your bench right now for these running backs that we're talking about. So pepper your bids through, kind of put a little bit on everybody. And if one goes through, it hits, you got a player. And certainly, Elijah Mitchell, fantastic. And everything that you could possibly want to see out of a guy in his debut, looks to be ready to step up into the starter role. But, this is Kyle Shanahan backfield. And so
you ready?
Man,
you're right about Tony Jones. Tony Jones was not drafted out of Notre Dame.
But young guy, he does, whatever. But so Shanahan's offense, right? Are we going to fault Shanahan for using his healthy, active running backs?
No, absolutely not. I think it's smart move by him. It's frustrating for fantasy owners.
The stigma, the perception, the narrative on Shanahan, it's a boondoggle. There's no valid information saying it's Shanahan. He just needs to use who's healthy. When healthy, Mostert got all the attention. When Mostert was out, it was Wilson or Hasty. I don't know. I have a chart. You could look on my Twitter about it. But when Shanahan has his healthy lead back, he's using him. And I think the RB1 in 2020 split between Hasty, McKinnon, Mostert, and Wilson. They saw 17.8, 18.1 touches per game. So until Mitchell, gets superseded by Sermon, if Mitchell is not playing well, I don't see why Mitchell won't retain that lead RB1 role.
So here's my game theory question for you guys. And so if you're sitting there and you decide you're going to go big on Elijah Mitchell, how much are you going to put on Jermichael Hasty to back it up? And that way you're doubling down and you're grabbing parts of both of them, because that's really the play.
Good question.
And you look at the draft, when we drafted, people were drafting Mostert and Sermon ahead of Mostert oftentimes. And so, people were investing in both of these backs. And so I hear people concerned about, I don't want a piece of the San Francisco back. I don't know who's going to be able to use, but you don't know who you're going to be able to use as part of it. And so that's where I'm landing on. I just think that I really like Elijah Mitchell, and certainly he could run with the job and do it. But I think that somebody in your league, and maybe it's you, is going to put down some serious fab and follow that up with the Jermichael Hasty, and you just never know how things are going to break, and especially with Mostert being out for the season.
Yeah,
new investors could be you.
And it should be important to note, there is a second running back role in the Shanahan offense. If you think back to the Carlos Hyde 2017 days, where was it Breida backing him up?
Yes. They rotated through Breida, and Mostert kind of claimed the job, but that year, they
that's
rotated Breida there. So
so the second running back, like you said, Hasty, I just put out a tweet saying, if you don't want to spend all the fab, or if you're not priority one on Mitchell, pivot to Kenny Gainwell.
That's a fine play. Boston Scott, they played early, but I think he didn't really play much.
He got 0 touches. Gainwell got 11 touches, a touchdown, and then a called back reception touchdown. $50 too much for Mitchell. I feel like you gotta go all in.
It all depends if you really need him.
Out of 100,
you gotta go all in.
Is it like, let's use a percentage here? I would go with, I'd feel comfortable if I'm in need of a running back.
It's gotta be 50.
I want to say about 35% of my fab for Mitchell, if that's the guy that you really want, and then you're backing it up with another 15% for Hasty, and hoping that you don't get both of them. Hopefully you get one of them, because you're not going to want to spend that much fab early in the season. That's 50% of your fab right there.
It's tough.
Quick math. But also remember, after week 8, we have Jeff Wilson coming back into this offense. All right. And Jeff Wilson was ahead of both Sermon, Mitchell, and Hasty before he got injured, ahead of Wayne Gallman as well, not to mention. But I think that, that's something to consider too. You're going to go out here and you're going to spend fab. So if you really need the running back, go ahead, spend the fab, get the guy that you want, and you're good, as long as go for it. If that's the guy you want Elijah Mitchell, go and get him. I mean, look what he did this weekend against. It was the Lions. I'm not going to knock that too much. I'm pretty sure that they go up against Philadelphia this week, who has a stronger running front than the Lions. So you may be a little disappointed in week 2 if you decide, Elijah Mitchell is going to come out there and do what he did again. We may see a more of a pass-friendly offense from Jimmy Garoppolo this week instead of rushing it. You may see Trey Lance run the ball a little bit more than what he did this past week. So temper expectations that he's going to be an RB1 for this season, because he will have more competition come week 8. And he has more competition right now with Jermichael Hasty. And I'm pretty sure Trey Sermon will be active in week 2.
So something that they noted about that, Shanahan wanted 3 running backs, right? So someone noted that Hasty and Mitchell played special teams. So Mostert and those 2 de facto were the running back 3s. Did you guys just see they signed Kerryon Johnson to the practice squad?
Yes.
Who cares?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, who cares?
I don't care.
No, exactly.
I
just wanted to say that.
Dead to me.
Just wanted to say that.
I think that's a fair point on if you can't use Sermon on special teams, and it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen situations like that where you've got the 2 backs active that actually play teams for you. One guy gets all the carries, and then all of a sudden the starter's hurt, and the other guy's coming in, and he's doing all the work that you didn't even factor. And I feel like maybe the Bengals were a situation like that last year, or when Mixon got hurt and Samaje Perine kind of snuck in there on people. But it's a very valid point, because coach is going to use all those roster spots for players who they are involved in the game plan, absent injury or not. And so it would not be the first time that we've seen a situation where the active back got to work, but the actual backup was not the active back.
Isn't that weird?
It's going to be hard. Short end of the story is that we may not know who the top back is in that backfield. A little scary.
Maybe it's Sermon. I don't know. It says reportedly that Mitchell Hasty outperformed him, but what if it was just a little kick in the ass for Sermon? I got to step my we
don't know if he was late for a meeting or missed a meeting or something like that, and they're not going to disclose any of that. So
we never know.
Probably could have been it.
It's a good, it's 50. It's tough, but Mitchell proved it, right? What, 16 carries, 104 yards you said against the Lions. Not that crazy, but
if he does well, I would pick him up. Elijah Mitchell's the guy you would really want. Hasty Jeff makes a good point. Pick him up as a backup situation, because he will get touches. Someone that you can kind of rely on in a flex position. Or if one of the other running backs go down, but I'm waiting to see who drops Trey Sermon. And that's the target that I would go after on Thursday.
Sure.
Come off the edge for that.
Ayo, COTE for that. All right, I got a question. So we're talking about whether it's injuries or just depth chart. Michael Gallup going down. How do we view the Cowboys? Will the tight ends, Jarwin and Schultz, get an uptick? Is Pollard going to see more receiving work? Does Cedric Wilson or rookie semi Fehoko. Sorry if I said that wrong, Semi.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. What's going to happen? Is it going to be the tight ends? Jarwin's coming back from an ACL injury. He saw 4 targets, 3 receptions, and Schultz got 6 targets, 6 receptions. Pollard saw more receptions than carries, but is it because Zeke had to pass block more? Lyle Collins just got suspended for 5 games. Is Zeke going to have to pass block more now? What's going to happen in Cowboys? Or is it just Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb for the next 5-6 weeks season?
Doesn't this game feel like it was like 3 weeks ago? After getting the fire hose from Red Zone, and after that Monday night game, this game feels like it happened last month. But I think that so Gallup had 4 targets when he was in. Cedric Wilson replaced him, had 3 targets.
It's 7.
Seven?
Gallup had 7 targets.
Gallup had 7 targets.
Okay, Gallup had 7 targets. Then Wilson came in and had 3 targets after he came out, and he wasn't involved in the game after Gallup came out. I think that Wilson is likely to see the most volume out of Pollard and the tight ends. It's funny though, because as we know, tight end, the floor to be useful is so much lower than a third wide receiver on a team. But Dallas is a team that is one of the few, and I think that something that too many people will go 3 wide receivers, like the Bengals. I have T. Higgins, I have Tyler Boyd, I have Jamar Chase. You're hoping that one of those guys has a week, but the Cowboys are one of these offense that do throw enough that you can get weeks out of every guy. But I would think that Wilson would be the play. I like what they did with Pollard and using him in this game with Zeke at the same time, and we've been wanting to see that for the last couple years. There have been hints around it. Obviously, last Thursday night was really the first time we saw it in much real fashion. And so that'd be an interesting play, and especially because Pollard is a player that can split out wide, or you can do different things. You can start him in the backfield, move him out to wide receiver, and still have Zeke in there as that personal protector.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Pollard train there, Jeff. I mentioned him in my Waiver Wire Heroes podcast this morning for the Tilt is Real, and if he's available, go and pick him up. He's definitely a flex option that you could probably play depending on the matchup. We did see him get some of the passing work, and Corey, you make a great point. Now that Lyle Collins is out of that offense, Zeke may have to come in and block a little bit more. Cedric Wilson, I had him also on my sheet, but I'm a little nervous that he's not going to be as relevant as we would hope, as Michael Gallup would be. The main threats in that offense are CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Even the tight ends, I'm kind of staying away from them because they are competing against each other. They're sharing snaps. I think one outsnapped the other by like 60-40. It's very, very close. And I'd be afraid to start either one unless I was absolutely desperate, which in this point of the season, you shouldn't be desperate.
So maybe, who knows, dude?
It's really just stick with your guns with CD, Amari Cooper. If you want to make a waiver claim for Pollard, go ahead and do it. Or if he's on your roster, just keep an eye on him and see the matchup. If it's a stronger run blocking defense, that means Pollard's going to be more active in the passing game.
There you go. Pay attention.
Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's good. Who do the Cowboys play here?
Cowboys play the Chargers this week.
How are they?
It's going to be a good matchup.
Okay, so maybe Pollard would be a good start then.
I don't know if I would go there.
I don't know.
I thought they got like a good defense.
I don't know. Antonio Gibson did okay against the Chargers.
20. He had like 23 touches, dude. McKissick had nothing.
Well, I mean, yards per carry weren't that good, but
I don't care about yards per carry.
Zach threw 58 passes, and so we talk about. I just don't see how the volume can increase for CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. It's not like they're going to throw 30 targets to Amari Cooper. I mean, like they're already hitting him with like 16, 17 targets in a normal game. And so,
I mean, who's the first receiver that we're going to see this year, tight ends included, that hit over 20 targets?
Waller.
Waller had 19 last night.
It's got to be Waller after that.
It's got to be. It's either Waller or Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper had 16 himself.
Yeah, but Brian Edwards came alive at the end. They waited for the very last moment.
Dude,
and then
in the last 2 minutes, man.
Dude, I went to sleep with he had nothing. I woke up, saw he had like 4 receptions, 60 yards or whatever. I was like, all right, sweet. Let's put him on the block.
Yeah, I had him in the Thrive Fantasy contest for that game. I needed 4 catches, and so him getting those 4 out of the blue was big. You know, it won me a little bit of money, and so I was thankful there.
Ching.
Thrive Fantasy is good stuff, man. It's a fun time playing it, and so I was almost.
They don't have it in New Jersey, man.
Okay, yeah, I was surprised that I could do it in Ohio. To be honest with you, but maybe
sorry.
I can't. Maybe I'm just gonna get in trouble now. But I was surprised that I
just
could
drive across the border and come back in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was almost worth it because I was 2 props away from winning $35,000. But that is fantasy football.
That's how it goes out there. Did anybody suffer a heartbreaking loss this week? Like, what? Oh, yeah. Did you send us that picture this morning?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, what was it?
Taylor beat me by 0.22.
0.22. Well,
22 hundredths of a point.
So I had one. I lost to Kevin Coleman, my whole co-host on the Demi Royale. Tuesday nights at 9:30 after this. I played him in a charity league, and I lost by 1 point to him. He had Josh Jacobs, and I had Darren Waller last night. And so it was kind of break down to it where you just needed Darren Waller to catch 1 ball and win the game. But and then I had another one, the Tyson Williams one I already mentioned. I lost by 1 point in that game. The most painful, though, and this one hit the Matthew Berry newsletter via Cooter Doodle. I'm so thankful, Cooter. I had a team that I've got like Ridley, Ayuk, everybody, Saquon, everybody that could win on this team, and they all combined for 28 points. And I lost on the Derek Carr touchdown.
Wow.
I lost that very last play of the game. If they would have kicked a field goal, I win by a point. I lost on that play.
So in Scott Fishbowl, I was playing against Al Zeidenfeld from ESPN, the DFS guy from ESPN. And I was down by 45 points going into Monday night. I had Lamar Jackson and Josh Jacobs. I'm like, I've got a shot. He was done already. I'm like, I could do this. It's like 45, 50 points. I was like, it can happen. If Lamar goes off, it can happen. Well, Lamar went off. Josh Jacobs scored that second touchdown. I'm like, I've got it. All I need to do is have Lamar play safe. And then he fumbled the ball, and I went down by 1.2 points, and I lost.
Oh.
I was going to be so happy. I'm like, yeah, we
won. Come on, bro.
I beat the 101 pick with CMC on his team, and I'm like, I was living high. And no, it didn't work out. But I did score 4th overall in the league, so that makes me a little bit happier that my team can compete up against the monsters of analysts that I have in my league with me.
Mine's so bad. Shout out Lil Wayne division.
Shout out Biggie division.
Shout Biggie.
I have a pretty good team.
Shout Gaga.
Your running backs are awesome, aren't they?
Well,
doesn't matter.
230 points week 1, so I think
who scored the most points
on my team or in general?
In Scott Fishbowl.
He tweeted out that leaderboard. Let me pull it up.
I don't think I'm on the leaderboard.
No, I'm definitely not. But let's just see who scored the most. Fill the idle void though for now.
So I
278.
278.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
278. Holy crap.
That's insane. Shout out to Sean McGranahan. You'd love to see it. Look at fan. It just shows that we don't know nothing, dude. Fan.
Wow.
Dude, fans. Look at that, dude. Just fans, bro.
Where is one of us? Can we scroll down and see if we have anybody from the Chaos League in there?
Let's look up Jeff Bell. You're not here.
Oh man,
it shows the top 100 only.
Yeah, it'll be outside the top 100 if it stops at 240.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah,
that's still awesome. Shout out to all these guys on.
Shout out to all the fans.
Let's run through them all.
Who's that Full Tilt Dynasty? Who's that?
I don't know. We're plugging other people. It's not the Tilt is real.
That's okay. It's not. But I don't care. I mean,
there's so many.
It's not a competition out here.
How do we? Does that website still count to see people's teams?
I
think so. I'm not 100% sure.
See this guy's team. What was it again?
Oh man, Roto Grinders.
Oh, nice. Oh, look at that
name drop.
ADHD.
Shout out to Josh ADHD, at Josh ADHD on Twitter for making this lovely tool. Let's look up the guy who scored the most points in the Scott Fish Bowl. Again, shout out to Sean McGranahan at the real MCG1.
I'm 6th in my conference in points. I don't know what that means, but
it just, dude, it means you're out there. Shout out. It won't search. Well,
that's good for the playoffs, Jeff.
Whatever.
You want to, I mean, even if you lose, I mean, obviously you don't want to lose, but the
just
points come
fun.
down to getting into the playoffs and stuff like that. And that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
That's cool.
What do you guys think about Nelson Aguilar?
I don't know.
He's a wide receiver for the Patriots.
Did he score a tutty?
We know this.
He scored a touchdown.
He did score a touchdown.
Kendrick Bourne didn't do shiza.
Nope.
I could have told you that. Corey.
Who?
How did Jonas Smith do?
He did fine.
He had 5 for 40, I think, with a rush for like 6.
Did better than Henry, right? Didn't Henry get like 3 receptions, 31 yards?
Something like that.
I mean, just stay away from all the Patriots.
Love to see Jonnu, but I don't agree and stay away from the Patriots. I think Damian Harris is a guy that I'd be.
All right. Well, I mean, sorry, I meant receivers. Then my bad.
Do you guys think for Damian Harris? Do you think that he's going to be in the doghouse this week because of that fumble, or do you think he just
didn't Stevenson fumble too though?
Yeah, they both fumbled. Stevenson had a thumb injury though. I could blame that on the thumb.
True. So is he. I mean,
he got overworked, and it was really his first game as a workhorse, and I think that Belichick is going to recognize that. I don't think that this is a situation where the Jonas Gray showing up late the day after he scores 4 touchdowns and he gets cut.
Really?
Like,
did he really?
Yeah, Sunday Night Football, he scored 4 touchdowns against the Colts, and then like he was the #1 waiver ad, and then like he showed up Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning late for practice, and Belichick just cut him.
When was this?
It was probably like, oh gosh, let me see.
Jonas. I mean, that just lets you know, guys, that I don't watch football. That's so cool. I mean, dude, that's Bill Belichick. That's the Patriots way. They don't care. It's like, if you are not here committed to this team, you got to show up on time. If you don't,
2014.
You're out of here. 2000. Wow. Shout out to Jonas Gray for scoring 4 touchdowns and then showing up late to a meeting.
Yeah. Well, it happened to Trey Sermon just before he scored the touchdowns.
All right.
That's all I've got to say about that.
So I missed Nate, guys. Where's Nate?
He's in Mexico.
Is
it time?
I'm not sure.
Is it time?
Is this a segue? I hope
that's what I figured it was a good. I figured it was a good segue.
Yeah, let's go. What are we doing? I have no idea what the hell we're doing.
Nate here?
Vacations.
Oh.
Just vacation spots.
You're not talking football already? You don't want to talk about anything else?
No, I thought it was a good segue.
What about the Chaos League?
I thought it was a good segue.
I won in the Chaos League.
I won in the Chaos League.
I'll pull it up.
And it's so fun of like knowing the switch that's possible, because I'm checking my points, checking John's points, and like I'm beating him, and it's like you're going back and forth. It's like, oh my gosh, he's got a 7-point cushion on me, and so I got to make sure I beat him by more than 7 points.
Damn, I crushed 216. Wow.
Yeah, you beat my. So where's Juan? So Juan
did not do well.
Juan had the lowest score.
He had a rough go this whole week, pretty much.
He was the best manager, though, because he didn't have anybody to sub in.
Oh, poor him.
That's the problem.
He does. So he has to send $10 to Jeff, right, for being the highest
$10 to me.
Oh, to Chef.
I got it this morning. Well received. I love that trade offer. It was $10 fab for nothing. Accept it.
Did he drop his player because he was the lowest scorer?
He's got to drop a guy that was in his starting lineup.
He's gonna have to drop. Oh, he's dropping Lindsey then.
But he can use. Could he not use his Tuesday switch to put a guy in and then to drop him?
Dude, he's missed. I mean, has he been working all day? Should we give him?
He can do that. Yeah, he was going through some family stuff today, and I know he's working today.
Then we'll allow a Tuesday switch tomorrow. But he'll have to drop a player. That's still insane rule that the lowest scoring team will have to drop a player. And also, shout out to Troy King.
Oh yeah, shout out Troy.
What else? So Jeff, you did do that. Thank you for doing all that.
Yeah, I added all the players, optimized the rosters, so
I appreciate that. Shout out to Chaos League.
Points I didn't fix, but I don't think it switched anything.
How'd the bot do?
Oh, I got Heineke. I don't need a quarterback, Chef. What's good?
How'd you get Heineke?
Because I cuff quarterbacks.
You didn't have Heineke on your roster this morning.
He's right here. You jealous, bro? What were you gonna ask though about someone?
How'd the bot do?
How'd the bot do?
The bot lost, I'm pretty sure, because the
bot lost.
Started a 0 point Odell Beckham.
Bot lost to Nate.
Not bad though. I mean, the bot wasn't the last scoring team.
Oh, Odell, we should have optimized that roster. That's our fault.
Commissioner's gonna have to get on that. We need an
Isn't that you?
We need an intern to run the cast.
We need an intern to run the chaos.
That's why I made you co-commish, bro.
I have a feeling that I have commission capabilities as well.
Everyone do. We should just give the whole league commission capabilities.
I think doesn't everyone? There we go.
Give it to everybody. The only league with 12 commissioners.
Do you guys trust Rojo, Ronald Jones as RB4? Sure, that's a fourth running back, right?
As a four, yeah, as a four.
As a four,
okay.
like
Keep him on my roster.
I mean, yeah, I'm not dropping him unless there's someone magnificent out there,
like an Elijah Mitchell. Would you drop Rojo for Elijah Mitchell or Hasty? Sorry,
I would probably do it for Mitchell. I don't know if I would do it for Hasty.
I don't know that I would do it for. God, I don't know if I'd do it for Mitchell or not. That might be a situation where I allow somebody else to outbid me for Mitchell, unless I've got like number one waiver priority.
Mm-hmm. You guys prefer Fab or the rolling waivers or whatever it's called?
Fab.
All the way.
I figured such. I mean,
I'm not in any league that has a rolling waiver system anymore.
I am.
But
dude,
and this bugs me. You should be able, once waivers runs, it should be first come, first serve. I firmly believe that. I hate the daily processing, especially on Sundays, because things happen on Sundays, and ad drops should be wide open in every single league on Sundays.
Unless you're playing on
That's a good point.
I agree and disagree with you. All right. If it's a standard, not format, but standard 16-man roster with rolling with Fab bidding, okay, I get it. Sunday mornings, if something happens,
allow it.
Yes.
Can't you allow it?
Yes, you can. But if it's a dynasty league and your roster's 24 or more, like I had the issue with one of my home leagues where I turned around last year. It was a problem because of the COVID protocols and guys dropping out the last second. But I found that people were using it as a loophole. I allowed it last year that they were allowed to pick up free guys on Sunday mornings. But what I wound up seeing was they were utilizing it as a loophole. After waivers ran, they went out and picked up whoever they wanted. And I'm like, this isn't right. I'm like,
that's not right.
No, because they weren't putting in a waiver claim.
Okay.
Why weren't they putting a waiver claim in? If waivers clear at 12 o'clock,
could have claimed them on waivers.
If waivers clear at 12 o'clock, you have an hour before the game start to make an adjustment on your roster. Like, you should be able to pick up somebody. You should have somebody on at least a 24-man roster with the 5 taxi slots that can play. You shouldn't be complaining and saying, "Oh, I need to pick somebody up off of waivers."
Well, commission rules. One,
so I pulled the plug on it this year.
But two, the reality of it is not everybody is putting in their moves on Tuesday morning, and some people are waiting until Sunday morning to set their rosters. And certainly, I understand making sure your rosters are finalized on Sunday. But I mean, I played fantasy long enough that you see the people that all of a sudden they don't do anything all week long, and then Sunday at 11:30, here come 4 moves, and it's like, okay,
that's how it goes, man. That's like majority of people.
Did you just find out if you won last week or not? Like,
that's how it goes. I mean, it's crazy. I think majority of people are like those. 75% of people are the people who make their adjustments Sunday morning or make those moves, like you're saying. Like, we're the anomaly here. We're the bottom.
And some of those guys are the ones that wind up winning out of nowhere, which
is
just crazy. Like all those fans in Scott Fishbowl. Like, really.
Hey, man, listen, we're not ripping on fans. Fans know their shit. And fans are not, I'll tell you right now, fans are not as spread as thin as we are in different charity leagues and whatever else. And a fan is going to beat you heads up because they care about beating you. Whereas if you're involved in 8 different charity leagues, you're kind of making sure your rosters are set.
Rough,
and,
dude.
you know, it's a different life. But yeah, they're just because you've got a fan in your name doesn't mean you're not as sharp as anybody else out there.
Fair enough. Shout out, fans.
I need to cut down on leagues after this because it's hard to balance. Like we're saying, like, I mean, again, shout out to charity leagues, like shout out to Weenus, shout out to the Best Ball Ish, like their best ball league.
Best balls are great.
Sign me up, dude.
Best
I get it.
Charity, I
get it.
Outside of SFB, every charity should be best ball.
I get it.
Every like baby bowl is a fun one. Like baby bowl, I don't know if you guys are in that or not, where you pick your players that Sunday and you can only use them once in the season. And so, like, I played the Kyler and D-Hop in the first game, and that's my time I could use them. It worked. There's 100 some people in this, and I'm 5th right now, so that worked for me. But it's just a fun concept in that regard. But other than that, if you're drafting, and it's great to draft in July, but do it best ball because people are going to be
best ball or have a DFS competition or something like that for charity. Like that makes sense too. But to change a roster all year long for charity, it's tough, especially when you have like 10 to 15 leagues. I know myself, I have 10 dynasty leagues and like 5 seasonal leagues. And I'm just like,
it's a lot, dude.
No more, man. That's it. Like if it's not a best ball for charity, I'm not doing it.
Dude, I'm in like 8 and it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I think it's 9. I think it went
it's a lot.
Talk about it. It's a lot.
So wait, so that's a good point then. Like what should be a really good average? Because I was listening to, shout out to the fantasy footballers. What would be a good round number for fantasy leagues to keep you plugged in and competitive throughout the season? Is it 5? Is it 7? Like, because I had 10 full league, like 10 all around leagues last year, and I still lost. I mean, I made the playoffs in a bunch of places, but I didn't wind up winning a championship. I stayed pretty competitive, but then this year I'm like, oh my goodness, like, man, 75% week 1 isn't bad.
Everybody's different and everybody has their own methods. Like I did 13 last year and I didn't really have a problem with it.
Where are you at now?
I don't want to talk about it, Corey. Like, I don't even know.
All right. Is it over under 30?
Hold on. Let's preface.
Right at 30.
Let's preface this question. Wow.
I nailed it.
Let's preface.
That's 3 hours on Sunday morning.
To that, man. It's so close to it.
So it's hard to balance these leagues if you're like a content creator. I think if you're a content creator, you should be at 5 or under. If you want, like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's true. Okay, maybe 8. I don't know. It's good. Like, you should be at least single digit.
Well, I talked to Tyler Gunther on a regular basis, and we had this conversation the other night, actually. I was like, how many leagues are you in? He's like 10 dynasty leagues.
That's perfect.
And he's like, it used to be 20. He's like, I cut it in half last season, and I feel so much better about life. He's like, I feel like I can pay attention to the leagues and participate properly. The leagues that he commissions, he's very more attentive on that front as well. And I look at Tyler as like a role model for me as far as when it comes to dynasty football. Obviously, he's been doing it for a very, very long time. I get the pleasure of working with him. So when he gives me that kind of information, I keep that in my back pocket. And I'm like, okay, good. I have 10 dynasty leagues. That's it. And I'll probably cut 2 of them next year.
I'm cutting a couple. I'm cutting a lot that I just joined on Twitter. Like, I was excited to draft.
No. The Chaos League. The Chaos League is amazing, and it'll be pretty exciting to see how it goes through in the off season, and who winds up becomes victorious. Obviously, I mean, we should come up with some kind of winning thing and losing thing.
Well, maybe we talk to Trophy Smack.
Trophy Smack, we know you're watching. You follow us.
Do something out for it, because
we follow you.
All your trophy needs at Trophy Smack could be a sponsor, not a sponsor. Also,
could be, Trophy.
if you ever want to sound off on anything, check out the Sports Me app and sound off on there.
Shout out to Sports Me app.
I love Trophy Smack. Matter of fact,
Trophy Smack. We know you're watching.
Trophy Smack.
We know you follow us. You see the
use code DHH ring.
Come on,
you could have this shiny ring, soon to be COTE ring.
It could be. And if you use promo code COTE, COTE at Trophy Smack checkout, you get insert amount % off. Matt, just hit us up. Let us know.
Could be yours.
Could be yours.
This space could be yours.
Not only do they got rings, they got trophies, but what else do they have? They have belts.
They have belts. They have loser posters.
Dude, what kind do they have? They have gold ones. They have silver ones.
They have a toilet seat for the loser. Come on. Gosh.
Promo code COTE at checkout for insert amount off. Trophy Smack, hit us up. That was good, guys. We're clipping that and sending it to them.
There we go.
Yes, we definitely should.
Okay. Is it time to transition?
Time to draft?
Yeah, I think it's time to draft.
Okay. Yeah, I got my football out. That was good.
Oh, that was great. Love talking ball with you guys.
I really need to just get one for my league, my hometown league.
Oh,
hometown.
I started using Trophy Smack. I shit you not. I started using Trophy Smack about 2 years ago for my home dynasty league that I started. And it is amazing. Like we used to have in my home redraft league, I went out and I got a base from a trophy shop, and I got the Vince Lombardi trophy that says FFL on it. And each year we put a name plate on the bottom, and it's okay. It's nice.
It does its job,
because it's 7 years old now, which is cool. But Trophy Smack, man, that thing came in
next level,
ginormous. I mean, I got the medium size one, and this thing is huge.
It's like $100.
Talk to Juan. He won it this year, and what we do is they have the swap top kind of thing. So you take the top off. What I do is each winner, I'll take the top off and say, here, you get to keep this year. And I'll just order a new top for the next year's winner. So that's pretty cool. Like you get to so when people come into your man cave or your house and you're like, dude, you won that? Like, yeah, I'm the champion fantasy football. Shout out Trophy Smack. Let's get this draft going.
Let's get this draft. Shout out Trophy Smack. All right, vacation. So should we do I don't know, vacation necessities? This was prompted because of Nate. Him and his wife and his beautiful family, his son, are going to Mexico. They probably are there now-ish. He said, do vacations. Should we do vacation spots, vacation necessities, vacation?
Do vacation spots is my vote.
Where we would want to go. So all of us being from the United States of America, our views are a little bit different. Like spots, like
have you guys vacationed outside the country?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. But being from Michigan, obviously, I guess it doesn't matter. You're going to want to go somewhere warm, whether that's Florida, but obviously overseas is a different thing as well. So, Jeff, kick us off here.
Who's paying for this?
What?
Unlimited
is already paid
just
for?
Where would you vacation spot? Like, where do you want to go?
If I'm not paying for it, Disney World is my first choice.
I mean, wow. The family, we're at 3, shout out girl, dad, Disney World's not land. I see.
So are we doing
is
anywhere in the world?
Sorry, Jeff. Yeah, anywhere. What'd you say, Jeff?
Which one's the one in Florida?
I think it's World.
Orlando. Yes.
Yeah.
Been there plenty of times. Eventually I will get here, and since we're sticking to the US right now, I'll go Hawaii.
Go anywhere you want, man.
I want to go to Hawaii,
man. Anywhere in the world.
I want to go to Hawaii. Eventually I will get there.
I went there once. It was pretty cool. I went to Maui. It was nice. It was like my graduation present.
Nice.
Beautiful, dude. Where would you want to go? What island? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Island hopping, man. I want to see the volcanoes.
Like a cruise?
Yeah, no. The wife does not do cruises, so a lot of the vacation spots you will not hear me mention.
Okay.
I think about the family,
Shout out the family. Again, shout out the family. We got Disney World, we got Hawaii. I'm up. Oh no, I'm up back.
Disney could be a sponsor, by the way.
I just want to go on that Jurassic Park ATV ride through Hawaii where they shot Jurassic Park.
Oh, I didn't know they had that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know they had that. Vacation spot. So it's very interesting. I'm the only one not married, not with a family. So I don't know if my spots are going to be different because of that. I wanted Hawaii, just so you know, Shaq.
Good. First round snipe.
So I'm going to pivot. I have 2 picks here. I can't just take Mexico, can I?
No, I think it would have to actually be in
a specific
a destination in Mexico.
I think we set it within state/city. So if we done Hawaii, then
Well, because Hawaii, there's all those islands, but like I feel like Hawaii should take all the islands. That's fine.
Do you think Hawaii is only a state to be vacation spot?
No, they actually the Hawaii was only a state to protect the coast.
Okay.
I should have paid attention.
The more you know.
Social studies. All right. I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'll go Venice, Italy. Here.
Very nice. Okay. Very nice.
That's a nice place.
Yeah. I've never been. That's my dream. I mean, I like Italian food a lot too. So I want to go to
like 4th choice to Italy, but it's a good place.
Again, I'm a bachelor out here, so I'm doing what I can while I can.
Taking a boat ride.
Dude, with some gooses and stuff around there, man. Are you kidding me? Dude, dude, some wine, just some fine Italian food. All right. I gotta go Mexico, but I don't know which one I need to take. Which spots? Like I think Cancun, but I feel like that's too much.
Cancun is fun.
That's what I'm saying. But like, I'm trying to just
break,
relax.
2003.
So I'm gonna go Puerto Vallarta. Is it Puerto
Vallarta.
I'm sorry about the spelling, everyone. Chef.
That's okay. Hawaii.
There's no red thingies underneath it. Just saying.
I'm gonna spread it out a little bit, go a little international, and write down Fiji. Okay. Beautiful Fiji. Nice. Sleeping over on top of the water.
I like that water too.
Glass bottom rooms. Yeah. Tropical. I'm gonna name everything tropical here as much as I can.
A little tea action. Love it. Jeff, back-to-back picks.
So I'm going to go with the Greek islands. So that's where we did our honeymoon. The Greek islands are a nice little getaway, and it's not exactly tropical, but it's a different vibe, but it's a nice vibe. And then my third choice would be Barcelona.
Nice.
Very nice.
Barcelona is fantastic. It's a great time, and so I've one of the most fun cities.
See some soccer.
It's a good time, man. Barcelona, there's a lot to do.
Did you go there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
My wife would kill me if I did not label this one on our vacation list, and I'm glad it's still available at the 302, and that is Aruba. We have a timeshare down there, and man, it is paradise. It is always 85 and breezy. It is beautiful down there. Great food. Great food.
When are you inviting all of us out there?
Man, quick story. We've been trying to go for the past 2 years. Obviously, COVID last year screwed us up. We were supposed to go for our 5th year anniversary. That messed that up. And then we got pregnant, of course, which is a great blessing. And then
depends,
the passport situation in this country right now is backed up by like 3 months. So we weren't able to get a passport in time for our son to go to Aruba. So we had to
for sure
pass it up again. So yeah, we're 3 years out now. Hopefully next August I might be missing the expo just to go to Aruba. What would you do?
Absolutely, yeah, dude. Bring me with, dude. Okay. Now I'm back to back, dude. I don't know where I got my what I need to go see, my fun little quick vacation. I wanted Fiji too, but I couldn't think of the name on the spot. I should have prepared for this a little more.
I did not prep at all.
I'm only talking to I'm talking to buy me some time into my picks here. I'm feeling tropical too. I get it. I did want to say Spain, but Jeff took Barcelona. What does that leave me?
San Sebastian,
Madrid.
Madrid.
I don't feel that important.
There's outside of Barcelona, it'd be like Madrid or northern.
I'm going to Ireland.
Atlantic Ocean coast.
I want to go to Ireland. I've heard it's very beautiful. That's all I got, man. I'm panicking here because I have no idea what to pick. What if I just said like Ohio? Sorry, Jeff.
Hey, I travel.
We did that. We did that in August.
Canton's one of my favorite vacation spots. I can't wait to see everyone yearly over there in Canton.
Majorca there are so nice.
Majorca would be a good one for you, Corey, if you want to go to Spain. Beach resorts, Majorca.
I think so, but what I'm going to take Bora
Vineyards, villages.
Very nice. Bora.
I want to go to Spain, but Barcelona. I'm sure Spain, no matter where you go, it's beautiful. So.
All right, and then for my last one, I may never get to this location. So since we are here dreaming, I'm gonna go with Australia and go see Brad.
That's a good one.
Shout out Brad.
Barrier Reef,
Yeah, I mean travel, and when I say Australia, I mean it's a whole continent.
I'm going for little P.
I want to see koalas. I want to see a kangaroo fight. I want to see Brad Bolt. I want to see Sydney. I want to see a bunch of things. I want to see the Outback and all that.
The Outback Steakhouse?
Yeah, no, the real Outback. The walkabout,
I've never been to Outback Steakhouse, guys.
You're not missing much.
I don't know for what it is. I think it's fine.
Like shout out to Chili's. What's your favorite out of Chili's, Applebee's, Outback, TGI Fridays?
Probably Outback.
None of the above.
I would say Chili's. Well, I get it, Jake.
You've never even been to Outback, have you?
I've been to Outback. I used to go to Outback when I was younger. Okay, so I would probably say Outback. I ate at a Chili's once, got me sick. Applebee's got me sick.
What do you expect, dude? Like, come on.
For Bloomin' Onion, chef. Come on.
Oh, just shout out the Bloomin' Onions. Those got calories, bro.
So I'm gonna go.
The Outback's fries were good too.
Give me Turks and Caicos as my last.
Very nice.
What is it called?
Turks and Caicos.
Very good, Jeff. I like yours.
I got a little bit of everything. So
I like all of ours. What a great
Turks and Caicos. Turks, Corey.
Turks, like turkey.
There you go.
And Caicos.
CAI.
And queso?
COS.
And queso. Yeah.
Shout out Mo's.
Turkey and queso. It's a sandwich.
Dude, shout out to Mo's. Okay, Turks and Quesos. Where's that at?
It's in the Caribbean.
It's the Caribbean. I think it's a British island, correct?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a hot spot, man.
Oh.
Well, I thought about Jamaica too, because it's right there.
I've been to Jamaica for our honeymoon. We went to Jamaica.
What are some notable ones not said?
Amsterdam.
See, I feel like Amsterdam, though, I've been there, but like
overrated.
The allure kind of is lost because you just go to half of America and after.
I would love to go to Alaska, but I can't do the cold. No. If there was a way I can go to Alaska and see the landscape out there and stay warm, sure. What else?